Hello. In our previous file in reading assignment 1A, we took a look at this paragraph. Student's attitude is an important component of how well the student gains knowledge. We saw that the first sentence is going to introduce the main idea, namely that we're going to look at how students are going to have their attitude and how their attitude is going to be linked to how they develop their knowledge and develop skills. When we look at this image that we know on how to write papers, and when we look here at this schematized version of paragraphs, we see that this first sentence here is colored in blue and it acts as the topic sentence. In other words, the topic sentence of a paragraph is like the sentence we just had, is a sentence that's going to indicate to the reader what the topic is of that paragraph. In this case, our topic sentence is going to inform us that we're going to link attitudes to knowledge and skills. And the word attitude, as we've seen in the previous video, keeps reoccurring throughout the text all the way to the final sentence, where attitude is again mentioned in relationship to how students perform for acquiring new knowledge and skills. In other words, topic sentences act as a kind of flag. It's a signpost telling readers what the topic of that paragraph is going to be. Let's get back to our paragraph and see how that works. A student attitude is a component, and then we're going to zoom in. What we're going to do is we're going to look at what specific skills we're going to look at. Since this is a paper dealing with working in groups, the skills that will need to be developed are group skills. And we're going to see that that is going to be focused on. We're going to, if I go back to this framework, we're going to use a kind of funneling approach where we start at the top of our paragraph. We talk about the broad context, namely attitudes are linked to knowledge and skills, and then as we get narrow, we're going to link that to groups. We're going to say that we don't know a lot about groups and that we need to find more information, and that we can come to a problem, and then we finish completely at the bottom of our paragraph with this kind of funnel approach, just a stop side with more specific details. Switching here to this side of our paper, what we found is that we start by saying that attitudes can impact knowledge and skills, that we know little information as of yet, and that the little information that we have could indicate that there's a problem, that things are challenging. But we try to end our paragraph by providing a first solution or a possible solution, namely that if we give proper instructions, that group work can be made easier. This is all a bit abstract and schematized. Let's take another look at the paper to see that in plain view. So, going to a more narrow thing, we go into group skills. Curriculum addressing all three components is required by this American Assembly. We say that attitudes impact performance, but we have little data on what students' attitudes are towards groups. And here we're going to zoom in. It's going to be about attitudes towards getting group skills. Data that we know, most teachers say that they don't dislike, and we've got our common sense approach here, that people, because they have so many demands on students' time, that students may actually find it very challenging at best. And then we say when we combine challenges with an unsuccessful experience, we may get, and we've got many examples here of negative experiences, what we may get is that people are discouraged and their attitudes may suffer. So you get negative attitudes, actually what we don't want. What we find here is that we introduce new information at the end of a sentence. So what we say here is that common sense dictates that group assignments can be challenging. I end my sentence with challenging, and I take that idea up in the next sentence. When a challenging demand is combined with an unsuccessful experience, and then we've got a whole lot of examples, students could be discouraged. Attitudes may suffer with unsatisfactory results, and then we're going to take that idea up and try to make it more successful. Well, we want to relate that to this image that we know. What we could relate this to is that we have a zigzag pattern. In other words, we start our sentence by saying, well, students' attitudes, etc. may be challenging, and we take up the idea of challenging at the next sentence. Challenging could lead to unsuccessful ideas. If we want to make the unsuccessful things successful, we need to take another approach, etc. So we see all these different principles at play.